computing. So in today's session, we are going to see about the introduction about cloud computing and the problems that cloud computing solves, cloud computing in itself, and the layers of cloud. So before going to the introduction about the cloud computing, we'll see what is done by distributed system. After that, what is done by utility computing and service computing. So an internet cloud of resources can be either a centralized or a distributed computing system. So your cloud computing will apply either parallel or distributed computing, or it can apply both the things together. So the clouds can be built with the physical or virtual resources over large data centers that are to be centralized or distributed. So your cloud computing can also be called as in service computing or utility computing. So the next thing will be your cloud. The next thing, a cloud. It is generally the cloud is nothing but it is a pool of virtualized computer resources. It can host a variety of different workloads, and it is going to include batch style, backend jobs, and there will be an interactive applications will be there. So your cloud is nothing but it is nothing but it is a virtualized computing. You're going to develop a virtualized server in order to store the data. So it is going to provide on-demand services, and it is going to provide you the provisioning of hardware, software, and dynamic. So your cloud computing is going to eliminate the need of physical servers, and it is going to enable the on-demand access to computing power and then storage. So your cloud computing is going to concentrate on CNS. So C stands for compute, N stands for network, and S stands for storage. So it is going to provide you the on-demand access, and it is going to support the scalability, and it is flexible, and cost is very efficient one. So utility computing, as so far we have discussed about the cloud, is also known as the utility computing or service computing. So utility computing is nothing but it is going to describe a business model for on-demand delivery of computing power for the consumers, and they can able to provide. They are going to pay for the pay for the usage. So what's the problem that arise before cloud computing and after cloud computing? So before cloud computing, it is called as an old way, and then now it is called as a new way. That is, cloud will be your new way. So while in the old way, before cloud computing, we need to purchase a physical server, and we need to purchase the different storage devices and the networking equipment. So for example, you can take a real-time example of the startups. If the startup, there no one is there to they need to invest for the startup. So what they need to do, they need to buy, if they are going to build an IT company, so they need to buy several physical servers. There will be several storage devices like hard disk, etc. Then networking equipments like your networking devices such as hub, router, gateway, bridge, etc. So these equipments will the cost will be very high, and they are not able to invest it. So instead of that they go all gone with the next premises, that is called as a cloud computing. So cloud computing, we will see the new way, it is called as a cloud computing. So cloud will be your new way. So what happens in the new way of cloud computing means the hardware is no longer purchased. We are not going to purchase any server, we are not going to purchase any storage devices and all. That's why it is called as a hardware is no longer purchased. So the computing resources are rented. So you're going to rent for the computing resources. So the cloud providers are AWS, Google, or Microsoft. The main advantage of the cloud computing is pay as you go model. So we need to pay only for the usage of the resources. Other than that, we are not going to pay for it. So pay as you go model is the main advantage of this cloud computing. So these are the famous companies of the cloud computing, which includes Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure Cloud, Google App Engine. So cloud computing, it is nothing but it allows the user to deal with software without having the hardware. They're going to purchase only the software, that's enough. So they are not able to bother about the hardware, such as the machines, that is hardware machines like servers, storage equipments, then networking equipments. So those everything will be done by the remote, and those things will be saved locally. So that will be your cloud computing. So cloud computing in a nutshell means that's an analogy to electricity used. It allows access to large amount of computing power in a fully virtualized manner. Then this cloud computing, it is the cloud computing service providers are Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, IBM, etc. So these are the best examples of the cloud service providers. We'll see the definition of cloud computing. So there will be several authors have given multiple definitions for the cloud. So according to Bayer, he's a famous scientist. According to Bayer, cloud is a parallel and distributed computing system. It consists of collection of interconnected and virtualized computers. So according to Vekero, the clouds are the large pool of easily usable and accessible virtualized resources. So it includes your hardware. So the virtualized resources is nothing but it includes hardware, it includes development platforms, it includes different kinds of services. So the different kinds of services, which includes platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, network as a service, then identity as a service, software as a services. So these three services are provided by the cloud. Then according to NIST is nothing but National Institute of Standards and Technology. According to NIST, the cloud is called as a pay-per-use model or pay-as-you-go model. It is otherwise called as a pay-as-you-go model. It is an on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. Here the computing resources are networks, server, storage, applications, and the different kinds of services. So this is the main characteristic. Cloud should have pay-per-use model, elastic capacity, self-service interface, resources can be abstracted or it can be virtualized. So the cloud is most probably concentrate on three things, CNS. So that is nothing but compute, network, and then storage. And that's all of this session. These are the references of this introduction to cloud computing. Thanks for joining the session.